Good morning, gentlemen. Hope you guys are doing good. Let me turn my heater off real quick. Running late this morning. I went to bed super early yesterday, got up, stayed up till like 11 o'clock, and then went back to bed. So there's no way I was going to get up at 2. And I'll probably go back to bed. I went out selling yesterday. I was debating whether to go or not. I should have just stayed home. I thought I was going to be busy, and then it was a windstorm. And when I got there, all the Christmas trees were blown down. All their shit broke. It was a disaster. I tried to set up anyways. I get my tent set up. I'm using an old tent frame. I spent a bunch of money on a brand new tent this summer. But setting up the frame, it's so big, I don't even like to bring it out. So I use the new canopy with the old frame, a cheap frame that I have. It's just lightweight. Well, that thing was already missing 2 screws. And because of the wind, the whole fucking thing came down on me yesterday. I didn't have any chocolate set up yet, thank God. But as I'm putting my table up, the whole thing fucking collapses. So I'm like, oh, fuck. So packed everything up, and then I was just going to go home and grab my other frame real quick because I only live like 15 minutes from there. But they called me and said, hey, we're just going to close everything down except the Christmas tree lot because it's too windy. So I just turned around and I put some stuff underneath this other guy's table for like an hour, 2 hours. We stayed there, and I made $55. I expected to make $1,000 yesterday, and I made $55. So it happens sometimes, you know. I made $400 in strawberries, and I sold, because I normally sell them for 20 a dozen, and I discounted them to 15 just because I knew there wasn't going to be anybody there. And I sold 2 of them. So I have 18 dozen strawberries left, which I normally don't sell the next day, but I'm going to sell today because they're going to be just fine because it's super cold. So I'll go sell them this morning, but it's going to be just as windy today as it was yesterday. You wish you had that on camera? Yeah, you do, Coach Rain. Trust me, because I was over it. I didn't like freak out, but I did when I was packing up. The last thing to go in the truck was a table, and normally the table's going first, but just because I was just kind of over it, and so I look around and I see that I still have one table, and there's really not any place to put it, like, you know. So I just pick it, I fold it up, and I just fucking launch it into the back of the truck bed. Like, you don't want to fucking go in there, huh? So I just threw the table in there and said, I'll be back. But they were like, man, it's just even one dude had like he built like a military grade tent. You know how some people will do that? It's like way bigger than it has to be type. Even his, they took that whole thing down yesterday because it was so windy. And you know what's really crazy? I've been to that spot, you know, many times before. It's always windy out there. Well, me and this dude were just kind of standing around talking, and all of a sudden, all of these birds just start flying. Like every bird everywhere is flying up in the air. I'm like, something's up. And that guy goes, man, Mount Rainier's getting ready to blow. He's a Native American dude, so he knows shit too. And I'm like, dude, this is not normal. Because it was Canadian geese for one thing. It was a whole bunch of them, and this is a huge, the native that I'm in this lot. It's a huge piece of property. It used to be a dairy farm, so like, you know, where the cows graze and stuff. It goes way back there. And I'm watching these Canadian geese, and they can't even fly. The wind is so strong that they're all fucked up. They can't get any traction moving forward. So now they're like flying into each other. And then I look around and I see all the crows are fucking flying everywhere, every which direction. I said, I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? And he goes, I think Mount Rainier is probably getting ready to blow up. I go, well, it must be some type of seismic activity. And then I see this report. It was exactly the same time that happened. It was an earthquake in Alaska, like a 7-point earthquake. And then I looked it up. Is it possible that birds will act like that and feel an earthquake that, is like 800 miles away? And I said, yeah, it's possible, depending on the type of wave and the type of bird. So when I seen that, I was like, holy shit. I really believe that's what it was. Cause I have seen birds act like that before, but that's why. And I was like, fuck, man, it was a trip. And then to make matters worse, okay, before this now I remember why I threw the table in the back, because there's that old tent frame, okay, that is just going in the garbage. Anyways, the one that broke down on top of me. So it's all fucked up. It's like it collapsed and it's over the top of the table. That's why the table was the last thing to go, because it was fucking trapped underneath the fucking frame. Okay. So now and my hands are numb at this point because they're cold. So I don't have a lot of feeling in my hands, which if anybody has like arthritis, carpal tunnel, your hands get numb. Like, it's hard to like gauge things, like it's hard to tie your shoes, or you don't have any feeling. And I could not get one of the legs to go down. It was like there was too much pressure on it. So I lifted it up and then just slid it in that way. Well, I pinched my finger in between the leg and, oh my God. And I have a huge blood blister on my finger. So that happened while my hands were already intensely in pain and numb and shit. So I was not happy. So it is what it is. Steven, good morning. Good to see you. And Adam and Co-Train. I don't even know if I said hi to you guys. Good morning, everyone. Animals act weird right before. Yeah. Yeah. And it was, let me see here. Let me ask ChatGPT. Where and how big was the earthquake in Alaska yesterday? Because 7.0 isn't that, it's not like that small, you know what I mean? It's not huge, but it's getting up there. The quake's epicenter was roughly 55 miles north of Yakutat, Alaska, in the southeastern part of Alaska. 230 miles northwest of Waunea, Alaska. The quake was measured at 7.0, 6.2 miles depth. A series of aftershocks followed, including multiple quakes above 5. There was no tsunami warning, no major damage. It is considered a major earthquake, though, 7.0. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing about that earthquake that I would have even, if I would have read that, I would have been like, well, that's just what happens in Alaska. Yeah, isn't that weird that because I mean, I think there's been like a 6.4 within the last couple of years up there where they issued a tsunami warning. So I don't know how that works. Maybe because it was so shallow that type of a shock wave or because it, some of the earthquakes happen out in the Aleutian Islands. Maybe it was the location of it. But I know for a fact in my heart that that's what those birds were doing. Like we knew, when it was happening that something was up. I didn't feel nothing at all. But I knew something was up. And then when I seen that report, I was like, okay, that's gotta be it. It's gotta be, So the question is, why did the earthquake happen? Because it made me think like, again, it's just, that's a long ways away for the birds to feel that. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT again. Something. Yesterday, exactly that this time happened. I was in Tacoma, Washington, and all the birds started flying and acting weird. And do you think it could possibly be because of this earthquake? It's possible, but I would say it's unlikely because of an earthquake in Alaska. Okay, right. And so this is my point. It is unlikely. I agree with that. It's a long ways away. I think it's like at least 800 miles away. Uh, you have something called the trigger finger. The fingers get locked in a bent position. Like at first, got to pull the fingers back. Oh wow, ouch. Yeah, that sucks. I'm kind of starting to get that with my left foot. It's weird. Like I'll get a cramp in it and then it like bends and I can't put it down properly. It's hard to explain. It like locks up like I'm on my tippy toes almost. It's weird. I got to stop drinking so much coffee and start drinking more water. Adam, that's not fun. I know people that have, yeah, that cannot be fun. It doesn't happen all the time though. Good. Yeah, getting old for sure. But yeah, so that was a trip. So, and long story short, it was a disaster yesterday. But it's not the first time, and it probably won't be the last. But I kind of kicking myself because I get home and I look on Facebook and I see all these indoor events that I could have just killed it at. So I'm just gonna stay inside. I'm gonna go back outside today because I'd want to try to get rid of these strawberries. But after that, I think I'm gonna stay inside until Christmas because I got to make some money. So Monday, I'm going back to that admin building, and I'll be there Friday, and then Saturday I'll be inside at some brew house, something or other. At least we're undercover. I know that, and we don't have to bring a tent. And then the following week, I have a 3-day event, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday inside on the 18th, 19th, and 20th. And then the next week, I'll want to get out and sell before Christmas, but I don't know exactly where. I might have to go back outside for that. Hopefully the weather won't suck. Life of a vendor. You don't have to explain. I get that mostly at night. I'm sleeping and the ankle goes straight like a ballerina and a lot of pain. Yes, that's exactly it. That is exactly it. So I have a TENS unit and I do try to drink as much water as possible, but I drink more coffee than water. And I have this ball. It's a lacrosse ball, but you can use it to, roll your back on and roll. I roll my feet with it. I put, when I'm at my desk, I'll use it on my foot and it helps. But yeah, I always think about that. I was like, man, I don't want to be super old and have to deal with that type of shit. So I want to address it now. But I think the main thing is quit drinking so much coffee. As I'm drinking my coffee right now. I mean, in the morning is fine, right? But I drink it all day. I'm trying to slow down. So let's see here. What do we got going on today? I didn't even bookmark that much stuff. Let me see. X is just filled with attacks on Candace and the fake and Tim Pool crying about being his house being shot up, which I don't believe. I believe that is a playbook out of the Podesta plan. John Podesta. I don't know if you guys know about that. Alex Jones talks about the Podesta plan every single day. And I looked it up before. Hold on. What is the Podesta plan? It's about causing civil unrest and stuff like that. I want to see exactly. John Podesta, yes. It's a longtime U.S. political figure, former White House chief of staff. He helped shape policy proposals and advice on issues like climate change, clean energy, economic justice, and governmental reform. Yeah, this says that that's kind of like fringe or conspiracy orientated sources. But basically, I mean, you could tell, you know, like where Alex Jones is getting his information from. Climate change, there's no such thing as clean energy. Economic justice. What the fuck is economic justice? Is that what's going on now with like Kamala Harris saying we didn't all start at the same place, but we're all going to finish at the same place? Basically, the plan is to create chaos in the streets, and so that they can continue to take away our rights and flood with immigration and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's true, Stephen. It's weird, you know, like it's definitely got to be more than that, right? It probably has to do with how much screen time we take in, the type of lighting that we use now, that we all use those stupid LED lights that they say are even worse than you know, the filament light bulbs, whatever they were. There's got to be some other shit, you know. They're putting it in our food to make us cramp up. It could be the fact that I do heavy doses of methylene blue. That might have something to do with it. But it's not just me, you know. If it was just me, it would be one thing. But, you know, it wasn't like that years ago. No, you're right. It's a very good point. You know, it can't just be not drinking enough water, because our grandmothers and grandfathers didn't sit there and preach about, just keep drinking. You know what I mean? Well, maybe they did. I don't think they did. I mean, I think we just drank out of a hose if you were thirsty, type of thing. Ask Google what actions it would take if it was the devil, and it tells you it would do the same thing to the world that's being done to it now today. Yeah, if you were trying to destroy the world, you know, I mean, I talked about this yesterday, you know, in the last couple days. Today's Sunday, so Thursday, 1 block from me, and I just heard police sirens like crazy right before I went live. 1 block from me on Thursday, there was a hit and run, and 2 Mexican illegals go running away from the car and leave the other person just there. And it's on video on Facebook. And then the next day, I go to the meat market, and there's a dude shot in the head dead in the middle of the intersection. And the report says 3 illegal Mexicans were running away from the car. And then last night, I read that apparently the dude that was killed was in the front passenger seat, and apparently the guy behind him was playing with the gun and accidentally pulled the trigger, and it killed him. And one person turned themselves in for it. So I don't believe that for one fucking second myself, but I don't know. So they didn't exactly after some basketball we used to hose us, right? Yep. Yeah, no, they didn't exactly. Yeah, no, it's true. They didn't. So I agree. You know, it could be all of those towers that are out there. I don't know about you guys, but you know, all those whatever they are, we'll call them the 5G towers. In your areas, I mean, I'm sure that you notice them everywhere now, but are they getting lower to the ground? Do you guys notice any of these that are like ground level? I mean, there's at least 2 of them right now that I can think of that they put all those boxes and shit basically at the fucking base of them, not at the top of them. There's one where it is at the top of the tower, but they put it on right next to a freeway overpass. So when you drive by it, you're right at the boxes. And then there's a pot shop that I go to that right next to it, they have one of those towers, and the boxes are right eye level with you. They're at the bottom. It's weird. Sounds like they've been watching too much Soprano. Yeah. So yeah, there's like I said, there's not a lot going on. What I recorded. Let me see. You know, the one guy that I'll put on blast right now is Michael Franchise. What happened to him? Is he turning into a trans woman? Is that what's going on with that guy? I think Michael Franchise is turning trans, and I think he's getting sick or something. Something's wrong with that guy. Those towers I thought were for Wi-Fi or something else. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, let me ask ChatGPT like a stupid question really quick. I notice all these towers popping up everywhere with these weird looking gray boxes on them. What are they for? What are those towers? Yep, it shows a picture of them. That's a great observation. What you are seeing, towers or poles with weird looking gray boxes, are almost certainly small cellular towers or related telecom infrastructure. Part of the expanding rollout of modern cell phone data service for 5G, not traditional radio TV towers or power transmission towers. They're called cell sites, small cell towers. Why they're popping up everywhere now. The rollout of newer, faster cellular technology, especially 5G, requires many more cell sites than older 3G, 4G networks did, because 5G uses higher frequency signals that don't travel as far or penetrate buildings as easily. Carriers need more frequent distributed antennas to ensure good coverage. I mean, so there you go. I mean, that could be, it could absolutely have something to do with why we're all cramping up and, you know, I'm in a city, so they hide all this stuff on top of buildings, so I don't really see them. Oh, they're everywhere. I mean, like, they got them next to, they're on top of school, every church, lots of skyscrapers, and then they just have these weird looking towers out in the middle of nowhere. Alex Jones talks about them that, you know, they turn into, what happens is that, like, when you put them in a grid like that, then it creates this repeating pattern, and it's very disruptive to us, you know, which I think a lot of us feel like, you know, we don't feel right sometimes. And I purposely drive around some of those towers. Sometimes there's one right a block away from me. Not that I don't know why. I just, something in my gut tells me just don't drive through its path, drive around it. So what happened to Michael Franchise? Well, he decided to attack Candace Owens for some reason. And I don't understand why. It's totally not his lane. I do know why. It's because he is just a paid shill. You know, the reason he's on YouTube, the reason why we see him on YouTube is because he's in the corporate algorithm and he works for somebody. You know, he's not an independent journalist. He's on somebody's corporate algorithm and he gets pushed. So he got paid to say this about Candace Owens because it has nothing to do with him whatsoever. It's not his lane. His lane is talking about Sammy Guevara and, justifying why he flipped. And, you know, I mean, he has his own lane. He could talk about The Sopranos. He could talk about Goodfellas, Godfather, anything to do with anything other than Candace Owens. He doesn't have any, you know, and he first came out saying that it was so weird. he had the weirdest take on this. I mean, so many people got paid to attack her, but he came out and said he couldn't understand why her husband was allowing her to do this. Do what? Protect her life? Try to solve the mystery of who killed Charlie Kirk? And, you know, he just went on this, he had this weird take about how could her husband allow her to embarrass herself like this? She has the #1 podcast, and it's just very fucking strange. No, it's not about, he's not worried about money. It's that the people he works for, he's doing them lip service. You know, a lot of people are coming out and attacking Candace Owens. I don't know if you follow the story, Stephen, but it's just so weird to hear him talk about it. Donna, good morning, and Toro, good morning. Here's the thing about thinking that people like somebody. This is what I noticed, Stephen. You know, this happened with that dude Nick Fuentes. They put these people out there, and they get us to trust them, and then at the critical moment, they pivot. They pivot on the issue. They get the following, they get people to listen to them, and then when the timing's right, if they're a paid shill, they pivot right at the right time. And that's why we're looking at Michael Franchise this morning, because that's exactly what he is. He is for whatever reason, you know, and I'm not saying he's not a smart guy, and I'm not saying that he wasn't a tough guy or didn't steal $10 million a week from the government or whatever he was doing. I'm saying that he has no business. When it comes to like the mob talking about people don't have no business talking about the Italians or this, he has zero fucking business. He's not above being a mobster. A former mobster doesn't make you such a fucking badass where you can just fucking tell everybody what to fucking do. He has no business fucking talking about this. And this is where he goes from sounding kind of cool about his stories to sounding like an ignorant fuck. I'm sorry. It's just he's a complete fucking dummy. And I'll quit ranting and I'll play it real quick.
Hey, my friends, I'm going to pose a question about Candace Owens to all of you now. And I want you to take a look at this video. And this is a question. So for all those of you that follow her and support her, I'm just asking a question, because it's become very apparent to me, especially with this latest video that is only up for about an hour. I think she's doing a live. It's becoming apparent to me that she's trying to destroy Turning Point USA. And that's Charlie Kirk's legacy. Whether you're happy with what they're doing right now or not, why would you be out to destroy them?
And the first video that he put out was about, like I said, I don't understand why her husband would allow her to destroy her own podcast. I mean, she's the #1 podcaster in the world. I don't understand why her husband would allow her to destroy that. And now his new video is she's out to destroy Turning Point USA. Well, here's my opinion, guys. And sorry for the language. Fuck Turning Point USA. Who gives a fuck about Turning Point USA? I don't give a fuck about Turning Point USA, Erica Kirk, Andrew Colvett, Josh Hammer, Blake Neff, any of those fucking stupid people. Ben Shapiro, fuck Turning Point USA. This is about figuring out why the United States government is lying about what killed him. And it's debatable that it could be Tyler Robinson. We could debate that all day long. There's no debate that it wasn't the 30-06. It's impossible. If you believe that a 30-06 killed Charlie Kirk, you are clinically retarded. You just don't know. And you shouldn't even be speaking on the situation. And I'm not saying that's what he's doing here. But for him to say that it's apparent to him that she is trying to destroy Turning Point USA, it's the stupidest fucking thing that I've ever heard. I mean, that is just fucking retarded. She is not trying to destroy Turning. First of all, like I said, let me just calm down. Let me just finish this video.
And that's my feeling. It's my opinion. So, I know I'm going to get some pushback on this, but that's okay. But take a look at the video, see what she's saying, and see what she's trying to point out and ask yourself the question, is it becoming apparent that she's trying to destroy Charlie Kirk's legacy at Turning Point? I don't think he'd be happy with that. You know, there could be problems. There are with any organization, but I think the smart thing would be to try to work them out. This was his legacy. This was his.
Try to work them out. Work what out, dummy? Work. What are you going to work out? There's nothing to work out. The only thing to do is to figure out, like I said, why is the government lying about this? Point blank. There's lines in the sand. That's all it is. This is not about, destroying Charlie's legacy. Fuck Charlie Kirk at this point. This is not even about him anymore. This is about who the fuck is out there killing people. That's what it's about, because somebody else it's going to happen to Candace. It's going to happen to Tucker. It's going to happen to Megyn Kelly. It's going to happen to Alex Jones. I mean, Alex Jones, the reporter, got killed earlier this year, Jamie White. Not to mention that, you know, we got the fucking Mexican kid over here shot in the head. The 2 DC people fucking killed. The lady set on fire in fucking Chicago. I mean, every which way, it's happening everywhere. It's out of fucking control. So, you know, God forbid somebody try to fucking make some sense and hold some accountability to the establishment about what the fuck is going on around here. You can't fucking tell us when we see somebody with a fucking hole poked in their neck and their blood's coming out like a fountain that somebody fucking shot a 30-06 at them. You can't tell us that. It does not, it doesn't work. It's impossible. So somebody's fucking lying. Then we got these fucking clowns coming out here. Oh, you know, she should really just be quiet. She's trying to destroy the legacy that... Bitch, shut the fuck up. Okay? Sorry, guys. She should ask him if his dad was proud of him. She should ask him if his dad was proud of him when and if he gets on her radar, which I doubt it. I don't even think she'll even bring him up, because he's not, like I said, he's not even in the, you know what I mean? Like when it comes to like moving the needle in that context, Josh Hammer moves the needle 1,000,000 times more than this guy ever would. Tim Pool moves the needle 100 times more than this guy ever would. Now, if it comes to an opinion on what was going on in the 70s in the mob world, the room's going to be quiet. We're going to listen to Michael here. Until then, he needs to, why is, good morning, thing, dude? Because he wants to say shit about Candace Owens.
It's his baby. He built it. He loved it. And, you know, again, it's becoming very apparent to me that she's out to destroy the legacy. For what reason, I don't know. But take a look at it, and please give me your comments. Let me know your thoughts. And let's see if we can agree or arrive at a consensus with this. Thank you.
Okay, you want my thoughts? Here's my thoughts. Okay, hold on. Let me play the other one too. I'll show you what got me so worked up about this in the beginning. Motherfucker. Yeah, let's hear your fucking brilliance.
You know, Candace Owens has certainly been a hot topic of conversation over the past couple of months on social media. I would say ever since Charlie Kirk was tragically murdered back in September. And I'm not going to comment on some of her theories and the things that she said about that and about the Macrons and other people. You know, if that's what her thing is, then that's what her thing is. She certainly, you know, seemed to want to become the #1 podcaster. So she created a lot of controversy. That's what does it, it seems. But here's what I have to say. Her husband.
Here's what I have to say. When you want to step up and play with the big boys into the big boy topics, then this is when you do get exposed. When you want to step up onto our stage, you're the one that's going to get exposed, you fucking clown. So
why would he allow her to do this? Because she...
Hold on, let me rewind it.
Why would he allow her to do this? Because
he's talking about the husband.
Controversy. That's what does it, it seems. But here's what I have to say. Her husband, why would he allow her to do this? Because she is really getting a lot of hate mail. A lot of people are turning on her. really putting her in a situation where people are hating on her. Why would you allow your wife to be put in that position? I would never put my wife in that position, not for social media, not for money, not for anything. To be so hated. I mean, she's out there, she's in public.
Would you put your wife in a position to get her brains blown out because you were out there, you know, fucking around in the mob world? I mean, that's kind of part of this that whole thing too, right? Don't you put your family in danger when you're out there in that life? I mean, and didn't he put a lot of other people's lives in danger too? For, you know, like, I mean, the hypocrisy.
You know, she's claiming now that the Macrons have, you know, a hit out on her. They want to assassinate her. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about just normal people on social media that have really turned on her and really have spewed hatred out on her. Why would you allow your wife to be put in that position? I hold him fully responsible. I would never put my wife in that position to where people hate on her so much because of what she's doing on social media. I think that's, you know, 100% wrong on his part. And I don't know what their motive is. He's got plenty of money. They don't need money. You know, it was him that I believe caused her to leave the Christian church and become a Catholic. It's still Christianity, but, you know, she turned to Catholicism. He seems to have a lot of pull over her. Why would he put her in jeopardy like that?
Why do you give a fuck? Why do you care? This is my question to you, Michael Franchise. I don't understand. Why do you care? It makes no sense. Not to mention that your takes on this are just so fucking, you know, I mean, honestly, when I listen to him talk, this is what set me off in the beginning, guys. I honestly think that he is trying to bring the Goodfellas scene when Paulie and Jimmy were telling Henry, you know, fuck around with the girlfriends, but you got to go home. And I know what to tell Karen. I'll talk to her. I'm going to tell her you're going to come home. Everything's going to be great. You know, that's what I feel like. He's got that vibe right now. Like that he's trying to bring the movies into this, and it just does not work. He's such a fucking clown, you know, and he needs to leave the glasses on though, because I'm saying, I mean, I don't know what's wrong with him, but he looks like he's seen better days. Right? I mean, that's why I say, I don't know if he's turning trans or he is decided that he wants to join a boy band. He's either turning trans or he's joining NSYNC. I'm not sure. So is it bye, bye, bye? Is he going to start singing bye, bye, bye? Or are we going to see pink hair? I'm not sure. It's one of the two.
You know, there could be problems. There are with any organization.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up, please. Sorry, guys. Let me go back to the chat. My wife would castrate me. He looks a little bit like Stiggs in this video. And Caddy, that's hilarious. Yes, he did Norby Walters and others. Not sure. I'm on the ground. He is a moron. But what Paulie wasn't telling Henry was that he was fucking his wife. Damn. All good points. Pink hair and bye, bye, bye. You know what I mean? Like I honestly, I always really like listening to his videos. He's got good delivery, you know, his voice and everything. He you know, you can always tell he kind of makes him try to make himself sound good or whatever. But this is just, it's a deal breaker. You're done, man. And it's crazy because I love Candace Owens so much and I respect what she's doing so much that the people that are speaking out against her, I'm done with them. It's like, you're fucking done. Tim Pool, PBD. I never liked Tim Pool anyways. PBD, this clown, whoever, you know, they're getting checked off my list and they're never getting my attention ever again. I know not to listen to those people because I know that they're getting paid. They're on somebody's payroll. Some billionaire, some Jewish billionaire is paying those, has got their finger up Michael's ass, and they're making him talk like a puppet. And I highly resent that. So You know, nobody can fucking stand on their own 2 feet. Even a mobster, even this fucking badass mobster that was making $10 million a week or whatever he was making, he can't stand on his own 2 feet. He has to suck the dick of whoever that fucking Jewish billionaire is that's paying him to fucking say that, because he has no business being in this space. None. I mean, does anybody think that he has any business even speaking on this? You know, I bet you if we pulled up a quiz, a 20-question quiz, because she, you know, Candace goes live, you know, 5 days a week. She took a week off so she wouldn't get assassinated. And, you know, she goes in deep, hard with receipts. She talks about a lot of shit most normal people couldn't even keep up with. So I would love to give him like a 20-question quiz and watch him fail it miserably, because he has no idea what he's fucking talking about. And I would even love for him to even like give me 10 reasons why you think that she is out to destroy Charlie Kirk's legacy and destroy Turning Point USA. You know, and another thing about Turning Point USA, one thing that Charlie, before he died, that I did notice that he said, because I didn't listen to him at all when he was alive. I only started listening to him after he was killed. He wanted to know where the money was coming from. He didn't know where it was going, but he didn't even know where the money was, the donors. He didn't even know who they were. He wanted to, so he started digging in that. He wanted Doge to do a special audit, right? So then they come out after he dies and says they made $90 million selling t-shirts. Really? Really, you did? Really? Did you make $90 million selling t-shirts, TPUSA, or did some Jewish billionaire give you $90 million to fund your state propaganda ran organization that's trying to infiltrate every single school? And then now here on December 15th, ABC is hosting Erica Kirk for some weird fucking state propaganda bullshit. So why is it so important that even Michael Franchise has to go on the internet and cry about Turning Point USA being destroyed? Why do we care? Why do we care? Okay. We don't care about the organization. If anybody cares, they care about Charlie Kirk. They care about a 10 by 10 tent canopy that has a little banner on it that says, "Prove me wrong." That's all you need. You don't need to sell $90 million in t-shirts. And now they're trying to sell a book. It's just absolutely just, I mean, you can't even put it to words what they did to die. And, you know, apparently Charlie Kirk texts people, at least, I don't know how many people, but at least one person. Hold on, I got to clear my throat. He told somebody, at least one person, that he was pretty sure that he was going to be killed the next day. He said, "They're going to kill me tomorrow." So, and he had been talking about this for a long time, but it came to a point where he knew that it was going to happen the next day. So there's some things that aren't being said, but this is how you know how propaganda works. You know, Michael Franchise is part of that machine. He's part of that propaganda arm. You know, that's all that is propaganda. And it's crazy because ignorant people like my buddy Brian in Arizona, and sorry if you're listening, Brian, you know, watches zero of Candace Owens and then sees some couple clips on fucking God knows where. Facebook was one place. He said, oh, he starts talking about how Candace has been saying she was wants to have a debate with these guys, and then they tell her okay, and then she backs out. You know, like that's his whole take on the whole situation. And I was like, dude, please just shut up. You don't even know what you're talking about. So don't even try to talk to me about it. I don't even want to have the discussion. It's not even worth it to me with you. That's what I told him. I said, unless you watch Candace Owens and you know what you're talking about, I refuse to talk to you about it. That's what I told him. I said, so change the subject. And we started talking about that earthquake in Alaska. I mean, that's just how I am. To be my close friend, you know, you got to have thick skin. I don't fucking put up with shit. If you're going to be a fucking ignorant piece of shit, I'm going to tell you. And I'm just going to stop you dead in your tracks, like, immediately. Who is this guy? Donna, Michael Franchise is a former mobster. And, well, let's look him up, because I don't know either. It's a good question. Who is Michael Franchise? Let's see here. I know his dad was like Sonny Franchise. Born May 27th, 1951 in Brooklyn. He is the son of a prominent mobster in the Colombo crime family. His father was an underboss. In his younger years, he abandoned pre-med program and entered the mob life. He rose to the rank of capo, making captain. He became infamous by his own admission for orchestrating a massive gasoline tax fraud scheme in the 80s, often called gas bootlegging. He was making tens of millions of dollars a week. In 86, he was indicted and convicted of racketeering and tax conspiracy charges. Yeah. That's all. I don't really want to talk about like who he flipped on. I don't, it's probably like, it doesn't even really say. I don't know the whole story. I just hear whatever other people say. Yeah, you got to sub to Candace. It's crazy. Like, I'll tell you, Stephen, I'm not the smartest guy on the planet, but I consider myself, somewhat educated. And, what I do have is I just have gifts from God with discernment, reading between the lines, intuition. I have all of I have those things high on my radar. And, so I read people. I can call people out really fast. And I would not, and attention is the most valuable thing you can ever give anybody, is your attention. I wouldn't give Candace that much attention if I didn't truly believe what I was hearing. Well, I mean, I didn't believe my own eyes and my own ears when Charlie Kirk was killed before Candace even said one word. I'm already like, it's already just like going off like bells and whistles. Like, what the fuck is going on here? This is all bullshit. This ain't how it happened. They're lying. I mean, I was fucking traumatized when that happened. So I thank God that there's Candaces out there doing this, because without her, we don't stand a chance. And she's so good at what she's doing. She's literally has a chance to bring, she's got people running scared right now, and the government is being quiet about it. They know damn well what's going on. 100% they do. They're definitely involved in this. In fact, Kash Patel went on Megyn Kelly the other day and was speaking a little bit about it, which is crazy because he came out and said, oh, they solved it. In 33 hours, they solved that whole crime. And now he's backpedaling because, he knows we're not fucking stupid like he is. And, well, we're working, the Utah, this is a murder investigation. So the Utah State Police have this, and we're working with them and following up on every single lead. And sure you are, motherfucker. You already stood in front of the cameras and said, we solved this in record time. And then I'm speaking to the Freemasons. We solved this in 33 hours. Because he goes, we solved this in less than 36 hours. 33 hours to be precise. If anybody knows anything about the Freemasons, 33 is their number, one of their numbers. I'm going to skip a lot of these guys because I'm losing my voice. Sorry. I will highlight them though. Let me go back real quick. Kaboom. Mm-hmm. 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 Damn. His father did 40 or 50 years in jail. Meanwhile, Michael flipped, and then he's got to the point where he has nothing to fucking talk about but Candace Owens. Really? You're worried about her husband ruining her, and then that didn't work, so now you're worried about her ruining TPUSA. So which is it? So maybe her husband should marry TPUSA. I mean, yeah. Yeah, plus, like I told my buddy yesterday when he said that to me, I was like, dude, before I told him, I said, don't speak on it because you don't even know what you're talking about. I said, listen to us right now. We can have a debate. I was like, every debate we've ever had has been over the phone, dude. It's been on fucking voice messenger. Like we're talking. I can see you. You can see me. Like, what's the fucking difference? We don't have to be in the room with each other. We have a perfect debate right now about anything. You could show me shit. I could show you shit. And he still didn't get it. So, yeah, exactly. Exactly. How long has it been for Charlie Kirk? Yeah, it was September 10th. So, October, November, December. Yeah, 3 months. Almost 3 months. Yeah. Her shows are great, and she was actually when this all went down, she was talking about she was doing the becoming Brigitte, how Brigitte became a woman, Brigitte Macron, the first man of France, and her husband, and how she was a pedophile as a teacher and all that kind of stuff. And then come to find out, how funny is it that, she's talking about the first the president of France and the first man of France. And then we find out that the French Foreign Legion Brigade, like the 13th French Foreign Legion Brigade, was involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And that's who was going to get her. It's crazy. Like the video that they brought out about Candace, about how they were going to assassinate her or murder her. I don't know why they called it assassination, but why they were going to murder her. I guess any public figure, I guess, is an assassination. Is bone chilling. It's absolutely bone chilling. And then you have this clown, Michael Franchise, who he doesn't bring anything up about that. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched that video, what that dude allegedly said that they wanted to kill Candace when she was live streaming. And they had a blade expert that they wanted to cut her open from her sternum to her pelvis, I think is what it said. And that they wanted to show us that we're watching her live streaming, her intestines hit the desk, to hit the table. And they wanted the secondary payload to be the trauma that we endured seeing that. They said that dude literally said they wanted to see the chat going, no, no, no. That's literally what that guy said, literally verbatim. And that's some fucked up shit. That, and then you have these guys like this that are, their take is that Candace is trying to ruin TPUSA. It just, it's a scary fucking world we live in right now. And does anybody think that a YouTuber live streaming can't get killed? It just happened on the Las Vegas Strip, this last summer, where Sin City Manny walks up to that couple and blows their brains out right in front of the Bellagio because they got into a YouTube beef. And they had kids, and it happens, and that ain't the only time it's happened. So then you bring in some fucking military brigade that's trained in fucking killing people, and then they're like planning to fucking traumatize the fucking YouTube audience. Man, this is beyond fucked up. It's beyond fucked up. Marrying a former student is creepy as fuck. Just because they became legal age doesn't make it right. You fucking weirdo. It's, yeah, exactly. And they're the ones, you know, and apparently, like in France, some fucking creepy shit going on all over the place over there, man. It doesn't surprise me. Yeah, they really wanted to whack her, you know. Hold on.
It, okay, idea it was have a because we're here, okay.
Information that they have given the Assassination Squad and national units moved by the evil of.
They might have taken it off, or I just don't know what to search for. So I guess we won't play it. Yeah, crazy times though. That story in Vegas was wild. Yeah, it was. I made it to Trump's death, and what I was looking for, Co-Train, was the video of the guy where it's got the emoji over his face, so you can't see his face, and he's in his voice is disguised, and he's talking about how they're gonna cut Candace open live on YouTube. It's just that video literally like kept me up at night. It was weird. But I'm gonna play one more video and then I'm gonna get going because it's 4:00. I got a video of Howard Stern, Trump talking about Frank Sinatra on Howard Stern one time. Check this out.
The only one worse was Frank Sinatra. They're all friends of mine. I mean, these guys. Frank Sinatra, guys would come up. I'll tell you a quick story. So Frank Sinatra is with me in Monte Carlo, and we're having dinner. And he has a huge fight with his wife because his wife said something negative about somebody. And he had this huge fight in front of me. And I was unmarried at the time. I had this very beautiful model. And she didn't know what was happening. I mean, she was just like to say, and she's screaming at his wife, and I'm trying to pretend like nothing's happening. I'm talking to this girl. What he's saying to his wife, you wouldn't believe, right? Now we walk out to the lobby, and a young man is there, like 25 years old, 28 years old, and he just got married. And he said, Mr. Sinatra, sir, I admire you so much. Now, this guy's fuming, Sinatra. He's just standing there fuming. Mr. Sinatra, sir, we just got married, and would it be possible? We got married to My Way. I'll never forget it. My Way, your song, My Way. Would it be possible to have a picture? And Sinatra says, get this fucking guy out of here. And Jimmy Rizzo was a guy that worked with him, his bodyguard. Right. And they had 2 or 3 guys. They beat the hell out of him. And the guy was laying on the floor, almost like semi-unconscious, in the bottom of this incredible restaurant. And I didn't even want to say to Frank, Frank, wouldn't it be easy just to get this? But I never saw anything like. So Frank was the worst in terms of people,
Hold on, guys. I'm gonna. Okay, I'll play that video now. Co-Train sent the link, and then I'll make that the last one. Go to my YouTube. Oh, wait, not that history. There we go.
This is somebody who says that he's been doing jobs, assassinating people for however long, a long time, and he's coming forward to whistleblow on what is expected to happen to Candace, and that what the hit team is supposed to do that is in country right now, and what he is suggesting for her to protect herself, because this is a crazy story that this guy tells.
Rank Colonel DGSC Action Division. For 21 years, I ran black contracts in Africa, Middle East, and yes, sometimes on your soil. Tonight, I break every oath I ever took. 2 days ago, a priority cable landed on my desk. Operation Poignard. Target Candace Owens. Client Unit 8200 liaison embedded inside the Elysee. Payment routed through a shell in Cyprus we have used since the Rainbow Warrior days. The directive is explicit. Quote, eliminate the subject during live broadcast. Maximum visceral impact. The blade must be visible. The audience must feel the cut. They want her open from sternum to pelvis while the red light is on. They want the chat scrolling, no, 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 as her hit the desk. That trauma is the secondary payload.
Let's continue.
My payload is you, the viewers. Break the Americans who still speak against. Make the rest too afraid to open their mouths. The team is already in country. 4 operators, 2 ex-Legion Blade specialists from Corsica, 1 woman involved in the job on that Saudi journalist in Istanbul, and a spotter who was in the crowd in Utah. They have a studio floor plan. They have the shift.
Did they just say a spotter? They said a spotter in Utah. I didn't even catch that the first time. A spotter who was in the crowd in Utah. So that right there would indicate that this is real. At the very least, that would indicate that Candace, that this is who the source is for Candace. Like that right there. I didn't even catch that the first time. But Candace said they were involved in the Charlie shooting, and I don't know who else was, but right.
Yeah, and it's just, man, it's just bone chilling to hear that. You know, if that really would have happened to Candace live on YouTube, can you imagine? I mean, man, that, whew, fuck, man. I wouldn't be live streaming right now. I know that. I would be done with it probably. And that's crazy town. Well, I got that off my chest about Michael Franchise. So, I mean, hopefully he stays off of the can. I mean, he has no impact on that whole thing anyways, but it's just so fucking dumb to see him have a take on it. Doesn't Howard Stern hate Trump? Yeah, I think that was a long time ago. I think that's when they were both Democrats. But yeah, now they, she's going to have to watch very carefully for staff changes, etc. Yeah, that's true. You know, yeah, I mean, those type of people, if they want to get you, they can get you, you know. What's his name said that he's willing to protect her if she were to go to Phoenix. That Valhalla guy, the Green Beret, he said he would get his friends, you know, that have all, you know, protected government people before get together and offer to, you know, take her there. So maybe that'll happen. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to be Candace. That's for sure, you know. But at the same time, you know, she's probably got some very powerful people on her side, I would imagine. You know, I didn't know, but I think Candace's net worth is like $300 million. And it's probably more than that now. She's probably on her way to being a billionaire after this. Plenty of guys will help protect her. Yeah, 100%, Coach Rain. We all would. You know, I mean, it's like, and that's what I feel like I'm doing by telling everybody my opinion about Michael Franchise. Like, I'll verbally destroy people if I have to. I mean, that's all I can do from here is be a keyboard warrior. But I'm gonna fucking say what I have to say about somebody like that who he has a following. And he's just a fucking paid shill. He's just what a fraud. It's just such a stupid take anyway. What a clown. She made almost 2,000 last month just from YouTube. Yeah, that's crazy money. And there are so many jealous people out there. PBD is so jealous over that he could spit. He doesn't know what to do. He tries everything. He tries every fake business plan ever created on his channel to try to get viewership. He's had everybody that you could possibly have on there. She gets more viewers by herself than he gets with probably Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu, and pick one other person. She probably gets more viewership in one show. I mean, maybe at PBD's peak, he was banging it out, but I don't even listen to one thing he says anymore. Not one. I don't listen to one word he says. Yep, that's exactly what I say too. Fuck PBD. These people, man, they're not American. We're all immigrants at one point or another. And we know what it is to be American, and he definitely could be an American. He could be leading the charge. He could be the guy that was like, I came from Iran. This is my story, and I love America. I'm gonna, that's not what he is. He's a pro-Israel fucking Zionist, state propagandist. Basically, is what he is. That Franchise Gravano thing for $10 was a joke. Did they charge $10 for something, like to view it or something? I think maybe I kind of remember maybe something like that. Yeah. Joe Rogan nailed it. Like, if you want to make money on YouTube, you got to give everything away for free. And, you just let the audience decide. You could make up all these little gimmicks and schemes and everything you want and pay to have this pushed out and SEO and whatever you want to do. Big time names come on your show. But if you can't hold court and keep people's attention, then it's not going to work. And those guys kind of have a good story to tell, but then it only has a shelf life of so long, and that's it. And then it's like Groundhog's Day, or just getting claustrophobic listening to him. PBD had the two of them in a sit down and charge people. Oh my God, that's even worse. If it just would have been them two charging $10, bad enough. But the fact that PBD was there, charged $10. That's just he's such a gimmick. His whole, even his name is a gimmick. PBD is a gimmick. He's just not a real person. And I'm going to take it to you, Tom, and then I want to get your opinion, Vinny. He acts like he's a football coach. That's how he runs his little table talk there. It was like 3 years. Okay. Yeah, that was about the time that that whole thing was, right? They were, arguing with each other, and it was all hot and heated. And now all that kind of stuff is pretty much all but dead. Now it's just a bunch of degenerates bad mouthing each other. All right. Well, shoot, I guess that's it. 4:15. I don't really have a whole lot to do today because my strawberries are already dipped. I just got to see if I can actually go out and sell them now. But I appreciate you hanging out, Coach Rain, as always. Stay safe, Candace. she won't be on today, but yeah, there's just not a lot on Twitter right now. It's just all, oh, Candace is she's a liar, she's lying, blah 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 blah. Selling soggy straw. Yep, that's what's gonna have to be today. I'm definitely not gonna. I mean, if nobody wants to buy any, it's no biggie. They're just gonna get thrown away. But it's gonna be windy again today, so I just have to eat it. I'll have to go make some money on Monday. Well, right on. You guys have a great day. Happy Sunday. Thanks for hanging out. And I will be live again tomorrow. I will give them away, actually, to the workers of the Christmas tree lot if I don't sell any. And that is what my game plan will be. I don't give them away. I always crack people up when I say this. It's bad for business to give the strawberries away because then people won't buy them. But I do give them to my roommates or but honestly, I don't have that problem very often. It's only because of some anomaly like this where it's a windstorm. I'm usually pretty dead on about how many to make and sell. Sometimes I'll come back with one or two extra, and sometimes I'll not have made quite enough, but usually I sell out right on the money, give or take. So, and if you give them away, they'll just wait till the end and get them for free. Yeah, that's the thing, So what I do is I discount them is what I've been doing is discounting them to those guys. So, but because they're a day old, they're going to start out with a discount. And then if they don't sell, I guarantee they'll sell. Like if there was even a halfway decent amount of people there, like if 20 people came through there, I could probably sell all my strawberries today. But it really is just going to depend on the wind, like not to brag, but the strawberries, I mean, that's my number one seller. Like those things are why I'm even in business. They love my strawberries. So I never have a problem selling those. But I do, my golden rule is buy, dip, and sell in the same day. So it is what it is. I'm not going to, I'll be more mad about my tent coming down on me than I will be about throwing away all those strawberries. That's just how my brain works. You know what I mean? It's not really about the money. So it happens. All right, guys. Have a good one, and we will talk to you tomorrow.